Welcome to BBD. In this part, Sheela Iyer, founder of BBD, engages with Dr. Chackochen Mathai, a leading expert in salon franchising. Together, they unpack what franchising really is and why it has become such a powerful business model in today's beauty and salon industry.
What is franchising all about? The question that you asked me is franchising means one party creates a successful business model. This model is then licensed to another party to set up and run exact same venture in a specific area. This is for a set time frame. So sometimes franchising may be for a certain period of time. Uh, but then there are franchises which run for 30 years, 40 years. For example, you take Raymond's as an example. I mean, my grandfather was running this. Now, father's running it. Now, this is the third generation or the fourth generation you'll find. So there are some businesses which run for many years, but then it's all renewable after a certain period of time. So that is how franchising works. So to precisely put it, it is the successful model of a person or a company which is replicated, cut and pasted exactly the success model of one company to another. So, but that's not that easy. But then a typical KFC model or a typical Pizza Hut or McDonald's as the franchising kings of the world. Uh, you'll also see some Indian fantastic salon brands like Naturals, Green Trends, Tony and Guy. Of course, Tony and Guy is from outside, but then they are. But in India, they're doing pretty well as Essentials as a brand. And you'll find in Bombay, you'll have uh,
We have the looks. We have
Looks, Affinities, Geetanjali,
yeah.
Blossom, Kocha,
We
and you
have
find, and also in Bombay, one famous salon is there. Which one?
rich.
Enrich, yes. That's my favorite brand, the
Yeah.
go-to brand in Bombay. Very, very precisely done according to the neighborhood salons.
Mm.
Very neighborhood, looked at small sizes formats, big sizes sometimes. They have really mix and match. Enrich is an amazing brand run by professionals who are from IIT. And that's a great brand to look at from the Indian point of view, from the west side of India. But from the south side of India, if you look at Green Trends, Naturals, these are homegrown, fantastic brands with amazing brand pull as well as great, standardized work culture that you can look at and easily replicable. When you see the current brand of Naturals going all over the place, right? So that's a great model of franchising that we can look at.
So you are a business veteran in franchising. How did it all begin for you?
It's a good, interesting question. I started my career way back in the 1990. 1990, when I was a very young boy, probably my first job happened to be with a company called a DSRC, Data Software Research Company, which is in Smith Road in Chennai even today. But I joined as a computer teacher, and I never liked teaching. Uh, Especially computers. Even today, I don't like it. But then that day, that was a fad at that time. Everybody was running behind the computer education side. So I got into the computer education and slowly went to Visakhapatnam to teach computer sciences. But then I didn't like teaching. The reason is because the teacher stays in the same classroom, but only the students keep changing. And I said, I'm going to see lifelong, I'm going to see the same room every time. And I said, there's something which I'm not, at a very young age itself, I decided that this is not my cup of tea. So when I was sent to Isaac, instead of, teaching, I started learning sales from my boss. And I found sales is very interesting. And that's where I joined this company where we were selling um, computer education to schools. And that's where I learned my sales skills. And I found it very interesting. While I was doing that for about 6 years with them, my first job was about 6.5 years. I did about, we had about 50, 60 schools that we marketed in the Andhra Pradesh area, which sounded very good for me. And I said, I really like, because I like traveling, I like meeting people. And when you convince somebody, you feel quite excited about the closure of a sale. And that gives a kick to the person. And that's what happened to me. Then I joined SSI. Those days, Software Solutions was one company which was doing extremely well. So I joined them as branch managers, worked with them for 6 months. They asked me to travel back to Chennai. I was not interested. I loved Vizag so much. But then I said, no, I want to stay back. And I joined Aptech, and I recreated Aptech in Vizag, where the brand was going down. So at a young age, I did not go to a MBA school, but everything was learned on the field at that time. And that's when, after working for 2.5 years and building the Aptech brand, I figured out franchising is a great concept because you get to do sales, marketing. You also get to do R&D and logistics. So you do a lot of stuff in franchising. Otherwise, you're doing only specific roles.
Hmm.
And that's when I decided to venture into NIT. I got selected to NIT because they were hunting for me. And when I joined NIT, I found it so huge. At that time, NIT was one of the corporate franchising company those days. So when I got to go to franchising in NIT, that changed my perception. And I said, no, now I want to go and run a company on my own. So that's
Hmm.
when I got a chance to come back to Chennai from Vizag. That was 10 years later into my early years. Came back to Chennai and I started working for a very small company called CAT Center at that time. CAT Center was a very conservative Tamil company which was into selling CAD education to students. And CAD was not very popular in those days because engineering colleges were predominantly in the south. So I had to sell CAD, education, and franchising in North India. So I moved to Delhi, and I don't know Hindi much, but then I learned Hindi with the rickshawalas as they take me around, and traveled across uh, Jammu to Kanyakumari and established CAD center, 350 CAD centers. I was involved in establishing for 8 long years with that company. I was number three in the company where I had access to the chairman and the director. And it was very interesting because they gave me a lot of freedom to do what I liked. So important is that I was given an opportunity to be in sales, in marketing, in training. So franchising became like uh, I don't know what to say. I mean, I lived franchising, so I know exactly what to do, how to train a franchise, what are the pain points of a franchise, what are the pain points for a franchise, or when you sign the wrong people, how it affects the brand, how you need to make sure that your franchisee makes money. So it was a very good learning period of 8 years that I went through. I got opportunity to work with Kavin Care. Kavin Care Green Trends was another amazing story. I was actually doing my PhD at that time, and I never wanted to come back to work. Because I never wanted to come back to work, I was researching quite a bit. And there I bumped into these two brands called Naturals and Green Trends in my study.
Okay.
As I was studying, one of my friends said, why don't you come and he joined Green Trends as a HR head. And he came to know that I had visited to help a friend of mine to take a franchise. So the girl who was sitting there said, she asked me, what is your qualification and stuff like that. So I gave her a background. And she jumped and said, we're looking for somebody like you who could head our brand. I will put you on to my boss, who was Gopi. And Gopi and I stuck a relationship. And then they took me to CKR. And I remember very well in 2012, it was in his residence in Chekpet. It was a Sunday. And generally, CKR doesn't see anybody on a Sunday, but then he decided to see me because they wanted somebody for, and I happened to be there on that day in the city. Otherwise, I was traveling. They said, come. So we went and I spoke to CKR. And so CKR asked me, what do you think about franchising, blah, blah. And I gave him how I developed Cat Center as a brand. So, yeah, quite happy about it, the whole thing I said. And he said, join me immediately. And that's my take into retailing, which happened into the salon industry. And that was history. I think I met Sheila. I call you Chechi, and I met you there, where I've had opportunity to connect with you, and 300 stores in 2 years and 6 months. This is history in the salon industry. So one, I would say, uh, it was not just that I had the knowledge but the company backing was amazing. Now, knowing Mr. CKR very well, he's an innovator and a go-getter. and one who will consistently evolve and work through the processes. So the amazing processes were set up for franchising because I was the first guy who walked the talk along with the team there. So we as a team worked together to put the processes. And being a salesperson, it was easy to sell franchisees there. And in 2 years and 6 months, we did 300 stores. That was history.
Fantastic. This is something really very commendable because you have one salon to set up, it takes years to really